Welcome everyone to One Brothas Mind with KD Smooth. In today's world, black first choices are mandatory. Choose wisely or your bondage will increase. You need all the information. This broadcast begins with my monologue and concludes with our discussion. Together, let's explore the facts, propaganda, lies, and hidden information to uncover the truth we need. Our work begins now. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, here at One Brothas Mind, back at you. Coming back at you with another quick hitter. I'm KD Smooth. How y'all doing today? Uh, Coming at you again, ladies and gentlemen, with the story. Lord have mercy. I tried to warn people, with everything that's going on with the predator. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, here at One Brothas Mind, we call this thing we all been battling for the last 2 years or so. We call it the predator. All the people that have quit their jobs and resigned and moved on to get better jobs and leaving all these low paying, what I call slave wage jobs, destitute, hiring signs everywhere, all of them down the street. They closing down, ain't got nobody to work for them. All this type of goings on. I warned everybody that there will be blowback. It's coming, y'all. The blowback is coming. I warn y'all. Coming, y'all. And people couldn't imagine what it was. They, because a lot of people, in spite of all the absolute insanity that's been going on, all the deaths, all the just devastating things that have been happening to people and our families out here, y'all. People couldn't imagine that, there will be, some kind of blowback, negative blowback from all of the high unemployment and people actually using this situation as an opportunity to upgrade themselves and their lives, make better decisions as far as what they want to do, as far as how they earn money. Well, it's coming, y'all. As y'all see on y'all screen. Lord have mercy. The headline reads, Travel Nurses Fear Wage Caps Are Coming. Yeah, you looking at it right, y'all. This is a story from ABC, reported by ABC. Here, Lord have mercy, y'all. Let's get into this. But wage caps are suspected to be coming. And in this report for travel nurses, okay? Okay, so let me explain briefly what's been happening. I've done some previous stories on related to this issue here at One Brothas Mind. You can find those into the playlist on the One Brothas Mind channel, the video playlist. I did a story about how one hospital actually filed a lawsuit against their own staff
staff that had went and found better jobs, higher paying jobs at another hospital in their area, the current employer went and filed a lawsuit to block them from being able to begin working their new jobs, claiming that if those employees or their employees leave and go, they're at-will employees, if they leave, that it was going to hurt the hospital that they originally was working for. And in this instance, there was several, I think 6 or 7 staff members from a cardiac department that basically one of the staff members went, applied for a job at a different hospital in their area, got hired, offered better pay. The other staff members in the cardiac department, they found out that this guy was leaving and found out what was happening, and they started going applying one by one themselves, and they all were getting offered better jobs and higher pay as well. So a bunch of them ended up was leaving, and this employer freaked out because they was like, most of our cardiac staff leave, our cardiac department can't meet our healthcare obligations here. So I get that, but here's what they didn't do. The current employer who's losing their cardiac department staff in that story, they had plenty of time to make counter offers of more pay and whatnot to their staff to try to retain them. They refused to do that. So they just wanted to say, no, you can't leave. Now remember, y'all, these were at-will employees, meaning the company you work for, when you're an at-will employee, you can be fired for any reason at any time they feel like it. That's what at-will means. It also means that you can quit your job for any reason at any time you feel like it and leave, which is what these employees were doing. But the job went and filed something, and they found an insane criminal judge to actually grant a restraining order saying that these employees could not leave and go start their new jobs. Well, y'all go into the video playlist on One Brothas Mind Channel. You can find that story. There's the original report of that story, and then there's a follow-up with an update to that story. Go check them both out, y'all. It's that's crazy. But anyway, this story today, like you said, you see on your screen, ladies and gentlemen, travel nurses fear wage caps are coming. Why? Because let me read you a little bit of this story so we can get in. This was posted, like I said, on ABC Action News, WFTS in Tampa Bay. Posted on February 5th, 2022. All right, here we go. Brandon, Florida. In Brandon, Florida, 76 members of U.S. Congress, 7 of which represent Florida, signed a letter addressing the White House. The response team for this predator, y'all, that we dealing with out here. I don't want to say them words, the C and V words, y'all. We call it the predator. They signed a letter addressed to the White House about the predator issue to the response team coordinator, calling for an investigation into nurse staffing agencies. In the letter, Congress members state travel nurses are paid 2, 3, or more times pre-pandemic levels, and they fear the travel nurse agencies are taking advantage of difficult circumstances to increase their profits at the expense of patients. Okay? So, basically, y'all, you literally got, Congress people, 7 of them from Florida, trying to get the White House to not only investigate, but in other reports, they're trying to write new bills and new laws to actually make it legal to cap the wages of travel nurses. Because here's the situation, y'all. When the Predator broke out, y'all remember, one of the at least on the mainstream media, one of the big hot spots was reported was in New York. And all of the hospitals in New York and those healthcare systems got slammed. Y'all remember. And those places started putting out blasts. Please, if you are a nurse or other essential medical staff, especially a nurse, please come help us. We need your help. We can't handle it. We get killed right now, right? So prior to the pandemic, there's always been, or at least for a long time, travel nurse agencies. And what that is it's basically a temporary services for nurses or nursing. And what they do, some hospital somewhere in the country contacts this travel nurse agency and says, hey, we need 5, 10 nurses to come in and help us. Do y'all have any travel nurses available? And they work out a pay agreement. Now, normally travel nurse agencies do not pay any like benefit packages or anything like that. So they just pay strictly money, just straight pay, salary, nothing else. So in those situations, the pay is usually higher than a nurse would have gotten at a regular full-time job at a healthcare facility, okay? Because there, a nurse is getting a full benefits package. Whereas with the travel nurse agency, there's no benefit package usually. So you just get higher pay. Okay, so that was how it was. Then the pandemic hit, right? New York got smashed. New York put out a blast, communications to all the travel nurse agencies as well as on mainstream media. We need help, especially with nursing. We ain't got enough. Okay? So they contacted the travel nurse agencies and was like, please send us everybody you got. In fact, we will pay even more because we need them to come here to help us. We don't need them going nowhere else. We know what, y'all paying for the nurses, the travel nurses to go everywhere else. We're going to pay twice that or 3 times that amount because we want them to come. We want to incentivize them to come here and help us, right? So literally, barring all the details, that's what happened. So travel nurses, the services started contacting all their nurse clients going, hey, we got an assignment available in New York and it's paying way more than the normal assignment amount that we've been paying. And they showed those nurses that number and the nurses went, what? For real? So all the travel nurses, most of them, they took off going to New York to get that extra money. And there was so many of them, and the need was so great, even beyond the ones that were already travel nurses. A lot of regular full-time employed nurses across the country got wind of this and was like, wait a minute, I can sign up with this nursing agency and they're gonna pay me and go work in New York, and they're gonna pay me how much an hour? You go from in your regular nursing job making $30 an hour to going to an assignment in New York getting paid $60, $75, $90 or more an hour. There's reports of some nurses making over $100 an hour. Okay? Through the travel nurse agencies. So it ain't gonna take but a hot second, y'all, for a whole lot of nurses to see this hustle, see this game, and see this situation and be like, I gotta get in where I fit in, right? So what a lot of them started doing that could work it out in their lives, they gotta adjust their lives to do this. Because when you go take a travel assignment, you gotta live in this other city or location during the assignment. A lot of times it ain't just around the corner. You going traveling across states to do this, okay? So the nurses, the full-time nurses that were able to make these adjustments, basically all they would do is resign from their full-time nursing position, and at the same time, put in their 2 weeks, and at the same time they would sign up with the travel nurse agency and let them know, okay, I'll be ready to go in 2 weeks. And sure enough, ding, that job would end. They now employed by the travel nurse agency, and they gone. And they, within a few days, they're in New York or wherever across the country, making crazy extra money. Now, they're doing this now. Keep in mind, they're still working as a nurse and taking care of mostly predator patients, ladies and gentlemen. We don't say them C words here. So they're still risking their life every day, all day. They're still in the heat of the battle. Okay? So these are not, in fact, they're going to some of the hardest hit predator areas in the country. The most dangerous, high-risk areas. They're going in there. So basically, in a sense, you could say these travel nurse agencies and these other healthcare facilities and hospitals that are paying more, they're basically paying higher hazard pay, essentially. And for the nurses that are willing to adjust their lives and go accept these assignments, hey, get in where you fit in, get that paper. But here we go, y'all. Like I said, I told people this was coming. The blowback was coming. Why? Because I know what kind of people, and I've tried to explain this to people, what kind of people run America. They are satanic slave masters. I'll say it again. They are satanic slave masters. They always have been. Okay? And you have to understand the mindset of a slave master. A slave master, there's not one day a slave master wakes up with the thought on their minds of how can they make things better for the slaves. They wake up every day with the thoughts on their minds of how can I get the slaves to do more work and extract more value and money out of them to put in my pocket. That's the mindset of a slave master. Okay? So if at any time the slaves come up with a lick, come up with a hustle or a new way to something that helps make their lives a little bit better, a little bit easier, a little bit more valuable, whatever. And somehow it actually is costing the slave master a little bit more money. They're making a little less profit or some other hardships. The slave master is not going to sleep until they come up with a new scheme and make a new rule, new law, whatever you want to call it, to shut it down. And that's what is happening here, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, please like, share, and subscribe. We're trying to get this story out to everybody so they can know what's coming, so they can start to prepare if these laws get passed for these caps, wage caps on the nurses, travel nurses, y'all. So like I said, the slave masters are not going to sleep until they come up with a way to shut the regular people, the slaves, down with this. Whatever they come up with. All right? And that's what is happening here. Now, this is what they're doing, you know, because their argument, like I read earlier, is this is hurting the lower paying hospitals and healthcare facilities. They're losing their nurses, right? So as they lose their nurses, they can't function. They can't fulfill their medical obligations to their current patients either. So they have a few choices. They can either let most of their nurses leave and close because they can't handle or no longer provide safe medical care, or they could try to increase the salaries and wages of the nurses that they have so they can attract more nurses to come and to either remain or to come and work and fill in the gaps in their nursing staff. Or they calling travel nurse agencies too, going, hey, y'all got some nurses to send us? And those agencies are like, okay, well, tell us what, let's work out what you want to pay the travel nurses and we'll try to send you some. They say, well, we were paying our regular nurses maybe $30 an hour. We're going to pay them $40 an hour. And the travel nurse agency is like, most of the other places that nurses are accepting assignments to are paying a lot more than that. What? They can't do that. Yes, they can. There's no rule against people offering as much as they want to offer in regards to salary and pay for these assignments. So a lot of hospitals and healthcare systems in the country are stuck. They don't want to pay or match pay what some of the other places in the country are willing to pay to get nurses to come in. So they have the staff to do their service and provide their service in their hospital. Some of the regular hospitals ain't willing to pay that. So now they crying foul. Basically what I'm describing to you, ladies and gentlemen, this is the market, right? This is the market. So, and most of you have always heard most of your lives here in America, most business owners, and especially large corporations and all these wealthy people, they always preach the market, leave the market alone. The market, justifies and adjusts to everything. And the market, you got to be left pure. You can't mess with the market or try to manipulate the market. No, that messes up business. That's against business rules and all this, right? I mean, they've been singing this song for decades, right? All until the market turns on them. Now, all of a sudden, you got, what did it say? 76 members of Congress trying to sign in a letter, trying to create a new law out of thin air to place a wage cap on travel nurses' wages. Because the travel nurse market is hot right now. It's been hot ever since the Predator jumped off and New York blew up. Right? So they don't want to leave the market to itself now. It's not, the market ain't benefiting them. It ain't making them wealthy. It ain't keeping all the money in their pocket. The market is actually working for the people in this regard, for the nurses. I mean, again, ladies and gentlemen, just really quick, look at it. If you're a nurse and you're working at your full-time at your, local hospital that you work at, think of, they paying you 30 or whatever, $35 an hour, whatever, I think that's about the average wage, and that wage is relative. I know it's different in more higher cost of living states, but about $35 an hour, whatever, okay. These nurses every day, especially during the Predator, they're in there risking their lives. They're in the worst, they're walking into the worst place you can possibly be. I think, other than maybe schools, but I ain't gonna get into that. They're walking into the worst possible location that you can be for this whole Predator situation. And in a lot of cases, because of the nursing shortages, a lot of them are being forced to work mandatory overtime. Yeah, that's the thing, y'all. It's legal for employers to announce mandatory overtime, and you have to work it or you get fired. And with nurses, I believe, don't quote me this, but I believe if you don't basically do everything that they're requiring you to do in this type of the hours you work and all this stuff and the overtime and the emergency situation, that that's a little trick they use. They go, well, as a company, we have a state of emergency, so that authorizes us to legally require mandatory overtime. It's some bull. They just making up it. They are short-staffed without question. But try to tell you gotta work 7 days a week, 12 hours a day or more, whatever. Nah, bruh. Nah. But they can legally do it, y'all. Look up your employment law, y'all. Mandatory overtime in America is a thing. And a lot of y'all are actually dealing with that in your own jobs. But it works that way for nurses as well. Also, these nurses are working in this environment where there's just mass death. You literally are watching people leave here, y'all. Y'all can't imagine the level of emotional impact and stress that's causing a lot of nurses. A lot of them they basically have PTSD. And now, Congress members want to come and cap travel nurse pay? That's their solution to the nursing staff shortages? Not tell those hospitals and healthcare systems to increase their pay, to have competitive wages. I guarantee you go to these healthcare system and hospitals in their statements, in their HR statements for their jobs, for the nursing jobs. They claim the documents are still there. We offer competitive wages, to the market, and no, they don't. Not now. Not no more. Not since the predator. A lot of them ain't increased their offering pay, starting pays and stuff. At best, they'll offer a little incentives, a few $1,000, $5,000 here. If you come work for us, we'll give you a little signing bonus, startup bonus or whatever. Different. They trying it, but it ain't working because that travel nurse money getting paid 2-3 times or more than the standard salaries is too good to miss, y'all. So the Congress members are crying. And it ain't just Congress. I want y'all to understand it. You have the representatives of these healthcare corporations and businesses, right? They're the ones pushing these Congress members to pursue this law of capping the travel nurse wages. They're doing this. And they're using their political donations, y'all, as the carrot over the Congress people's heads. You want our continual funding and donating, you better write a law, come up with something, shut this down. Now, yeah, trust me, I ain't gonna get into it. They can paint a whole pretty picture for you of a bunch of lies about why and how this is so bad, what this current nurse staffing situation is with the travel nurse, and how it's so bad, how it's just destroying the healthcare system. Yeah, they can come up, they can make a whole scroll list of reasons why. And a lot of them are legitimate. Don't matter though, because it's free market. Remember that? The thing that they all preach, the market's got to be with the let it go, let the market be free. You can't constrict the market, and it's gonna take care of everything, right? Now, also, another note with this whole movement to create laws to cap nurses' pay, if this is done, it will also lower your standard or regular full-time employed nurses' pay. Why? Because then they know their current nurses, they can't leave and go take off and go make a whole bunch of money no more. So they kind of stuck, and they have to accept whatever we giving them, y'all. That's what they want. So, in my opinion, here at One Brothas Mind, ladies and gentlemen, if this thing continues to move forward, they actually make a lot of this. Lord have mercy. This is gonna cost a whole lot of nurses a lot more nurses to quit being a nurse, y'all. Because then it's no longer really worth them going into the worst environment, risking their lives, the lives of their family and children, with the germs all over them. It's no longer worth it. And they will clearly see that this not only is the system rigged, but it's always been rigged against them. They sitting here being forced, they tired, they're exhausted, being forced to work mandatory overtime and come on, man. They've been getting hit. And now that the opportunity and market is there for many of them to go and actually be paid at higher levels And in those areas, in those cities, at those hospitals, still provide top quality care and help for those people affected by this predator? Like I said, the market job, that whole theory is only for wealthy business owners and corporations and all that. That's the lie they've taught people. But it's being revealed in this way, in this story, that it's only for them. The market can't be used against them. Oh no, we got pass new laws. What just write it up. I don't care what it says. Just make it happen. You gotta make up some just out of thin air. No, I'm not paying all this extra money. For what? The market? Ain't got time for that. We gotta shut this down. Like I said, I told people there's gonna be blowback. Okay? From all of the staffing shortages. And in this story, it's the nursing staff shortages. And this is their approach to a solution. Not let's train more nurses. Not let's increase the pay more of nurses so they can be more financially secure for this crazy extra hazard that they're dealing with, the risk. No, let's cap their money. And as I said, I've told people, I've mentioned it in other videos, the blowback is going to be more control and more slavery. It's just, or in other words, more people, like in this case, the nurses are going to find out that they slaves too. Okay? That's all this is. You know, they thought they had it good. I mean, a lot of people in America, as long as they were doing okay, everything was cool, you know, they was getting over it, seemed to be able to put together decent lives. They didn't care about how America was originally set up and how it's always been set up. We're a capitalistic system, y'all. That means while one person capitalizes, they're capitalizing on extracting value and wealth from another person or group of people. That's America. That's slavery. And you can't get wealthy without extracting far, far beyond what is reasonable in value and money from the other person or people. That's the whole American scam. And because of the predator, this American house of cards is falling down. It's crumbling, y'all. And so all these little cracks and crumbles in the American house of cards is exposing what it's always been. Okay? The 400 years is up, y'all. Everything is being exposed. Why? Because those so-called that's on the top, that's always been on the top, that's always been sucking up all the wealth and money from the vast majority of us. They're now dealing with a situation that they can't control, that they don't know what to do. They don't know how, they can't beat it. They can't shoot it. They can't lock it up. They can't arrest it. You can't do nothing with the predator. Walk around, hopefully with a mask on, trying to protect yourself. But you can't get rid of it. You can't control it. I've said in other videos, and I keep saying it. This is The mindset that the wealthy and the corporations have, and the government, they have the mindset of Pharaoh from Egypt in scripture. Okay? During the time when God sent the 10 plagues, the first few, Pharaoh was like, what? This is crazy. But he was like, you know what? I ain't no punk. I got this. We go. How many people died? Okay. We all right now. They gone now. The locust is gone now. We all right. Okay. All right. We gonna rebuild. We gonna be all right. And then God sent another. Bam. We in a water. What? Where the water go? It's red. It tastes like blood. What? Yeah. This is what the predator. This is the same type of situation. This is worldwide. So they sitting there going, they basically lying, making up stuff, trying to get the people to allow them or to believe what they're saying and just keep working, making them money, risking their lives and whatnot. And in this case, in this story, it's nurses. But now they want them to do it for lower pay because it's costing them too much money. Really? I mean, let's look at this a little bit more. Let's look at it. Let's look at this, y'all. Oh my God! Imagine if they tried this whole idea not just with the nurses or travel nurses, but across the country. This is a national law, right? I would not be surprised if they don't try to come up with this. I'm trying to tell y'all. Because what's happening national? Most people that are working, they're quitting those low-paying jobs. In most cases, they're finding higher-paying jobs to go to make their lives better. That's the market. Great. It's working for the people now. Right? But what if they came up with the same whole theory? Because they have already come up with the theory. The Congress people are already pushing it. 76 of them are pushing it. Okay? So they ain't got to come up with it. They just got to say, let's broaden this to make this national. How can we do that? Well, one way I thought of, they can say, okay, when you go apply for a new job and you get a new job and everything, the new employer gets access to your tax filing, your tax records from the previous year or your previous job, so that they can confirm what your previous salary from that job was, right? So then, because of this national wage cap, your new employer can only offer you a certain small percentage more in a salary than you were making at your previous employer or previous job. Such a small increase that it's not even really worth it for you to go and change jobs and go work the new job. The incentive is gone. They could do this, y'all, in an attempt to try to lock everybody in and force everybody to stay working where they are, to de-incentivize the market as far as wages. They can literally do this, y'all. So, again, y'all, travel nurses in this situation, all they done is go, as many of them that could, go to the highest paying hospitals. That's all they've done, the market. They have a right to do this. These 76 Congress people are trying to take it away, but they have a right to do this. And their solution, the hospitals that don't have, that their nurses are leaving for this option, especially the travel nurse option, not increase their pay, not make their jobs, in many ways better. No. Their solution is to cut the pay, put pay restrictions on the travel nurses' pay, which will also trickle down, and put pay restrictions on regular full-time employed nurses. Because now they don't have as much incentive to leave. So now they can just pay you whatever they want. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, please like, share, and subscribe. Please like, share, and subscribe. I mean, what do y'all think on this, y'all? What do y'all think about this story? I told people it was coming. And it's going to be more. I'm not a slave master. I can't think like that and come up with all the most satanic things to do to other human beings. And that's the thing. Most of these companies and corporations and wealthy people owning these businesses, they all swear up and down that they're Christians. They swear up and down, it's all PR. Because as we know, y'all, Scripture says pay every man his fair wage for a fair day's of work. I'm paraphrasing, y'all, but y'all know where that one is. But no. They ain't trying to do that, y'all. They trying to continue the greed system that's always been in place, the slavery system that's always been in place. And here's one other side note, y'all. This is for my white listeners, my white family. Y'all come up here close. Come scoot over here. Come here for a minute. Black people have been trying to tell y'all this for centuries. Y'all say, tell y'all what? That we all slaves. They just told y'all, lied and told y'all, and got y'all to believe y'all are better than those N-words. So whatever it is going on, long as you know you better than those N-words, you good. And they gave y'all, or allowed y'all to have white privilege and a few more extra crumbs and opportunities, so y'all was able to carve out, most of y'all, a little bit better lives, a little bit seemingly more secure lives and situations. And as long as y'all had that, y'all ain't gave a damn about the rest of the people that are on the bottom of this capitalistic system. Y'all ain't cared about this legalized slavery and these slave wages here in America. How you could work 80 hours, 40 hours a week, 80-hour job, whatnot, and you still qualify for government assistance, food stamps, because they paying slave wages. Y'all ain't care. Y'all ain't care about people, especially a lot of ladies, working for tips. Do y'all know the history of the whole tip issue? Y'all know that started during slavery, right? That started with black people, especially black men working in train cars, where they were not paid anything. No money, no salary. They just worked for tips to the white passengers. That's where the whole tipping began and started. That's its origin. And that's why it's still in place today. Because it's the exact same function. An employer can say, you know what? We provide a service of some kind, so we have customers coming in for our service. So instead of paying you a fair wage, we're going to pay you less than a slave wage and call it that you got to work for tips. So the customers are going to finish paying you whatever, and, our customers pay tip pretty good, so you should come out pretty good. Wink, wink. What? Now you got idiot people out here working other services, Uber, DoorDash, all these other stuff for tips. Instead of requiring and demanding that these companies pay a fair living wage, no. I'm going to work and deliver your food orders for tips. And then when people who order food, orders, and they either don't tip or they only give a small tip or offer a small tip, the delivery people are all over YouTube mad, throwing people's food on the ground, or smashing it against their house, or just eating it. They mad at the people, not the slave master employers, not them. Not organizing strikes against them. Not coming together saying we're going to force them to stop this slavery practice of tipping, of forcing us to work for tips. No, that's not the solution. The solution is to demand the people that ordered the food to pay you, give you more money out of their pocket to give you higher tips. Lord, y'all. Oh, man. Talk about backwards. But again, ladies and gentlemen, y'all let me know what y'all think about this. I wasn't trying to go this long, but sometimes I just can't hold it all in, man. Sometimes I just, capping travel nurse wages. That's their solution. My God. What they gonna do about the rest of y'all? Like I said, y'all, they gonna come up with all kind of new diabolical schemes. Trust me. And also, I was talking to my white family here. Many of y'all got businesses, right? You got your restaurant or your bar or whatever. You got your own little business going and popping. You've had it, you apply for that business license and ask for permission, so-called legal permission to operate a business. And you've been doing it, and many of y'all been running very successful businesses, making good living, enjoying the feel of being in control of your lives. And then you find out here, about a little over a year ago, what it really is. When the governments came out and said, we're going to need you to lock your doors of your business and not open up tomorrow. Matter of fact, don't open back up until we tell you can open back up. Okay? And y'all was like, wait, what? What do you mean you can't do that? Yeah, we can. If you don't close, we're going to arrest you and throw you in jail or fine you, until bankruptcy. So, your choice. You either close and do what we tell you to do, or we're going to destroy you. Why are you doing this? Oh, public safety. Yeah, that's it. That's what it is this time. Public safety. Yeah. What's it going to be next time, y'all? You thought you was free. Y'all thought y'all was free and good, and y'all wasn't slaves and under the control of this crazy capitalistic satanic system. You better think again. Y'all have experienced it. Start listening. You see a lot of y'all online getting kicked off of the main social media places because y'all screaming and hollering about what's happening to y'all, complaining about, how y'all feel about everything that's going on. I mean, one of the biggest differences between how y'all are responding to all this and how most black people are responding is because we've been at the bottom the whole time. We've been struggling with this fight the whole time. So this is not really new to most of us. but it's brand new to most of y'all. This struggle game. So, y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments about this wage cap for travel nurses story. It's coming, y'all, and there's gonna be some other jacked up. They're gonna add and come up with all kind of twisted new things to add to this system, trying to protect their profits, money in their pocket. That's what they're doing. So again, let's chop it up. Let me know in the comments. And for those that are nurses out there, hit me up. Let me know what y'all plan to do about this. How do y'all plan to respond as a group or as well as individuals? Man, this is crazy. And this concludes this broadcast for One Brothas Mind. We thank you for joining us. And as a part of the New Black Media, B1 choices are mandatory. And being on code is required. But never fear, Yeshua the Christ is with you always. Shalom.